And, you know, talking to Ollie Marmol, it's not only offensive, it's also defensive. He's a guy that used to want to get out of there 6th, 7th inning for defense. Now he just leaves him in there and forgets about it.
Alec Burleson on a hop into the backhand of Vaughn Grissom. And 1, 2, 3 for Jose Soriano. For those of you watching on ESPN2, flip over to ESPN. That's where this game continues right after this.
Hello.
The Cardinals right now 4 games above 500, clinging to the 3rd National League wildcard spot. The Angels, meantime, led by a resurgent Mike Trout, 39-61, worst record in baseball. But Mike Trout's been a revelation. We just saw him in Philly for the All-Star game.
Yeah, it's still the same Mike Trout. I mean, listen, he's had a lot of injury issues over the past 5 or 6 years, but this year he's been mostly healthy. I know he did miss a little bit of time. And he's made a few adjustments, you know, stepping back a little bit, staying in his legs. But at the end of the day, that swing, still the same Mike Trout.
Going up against Kyle Leahy, reliever to starter. Of course, that's been the well-documented transition for him this season. Last 4 starts, getting deep in games and being able to handle that 3rd time through.
Yeah, and it's really encouraging to see that because, like you mentioned, he only threw 88 innings last year as a relief pitcher. And now this year just, you know, surpassed that. He's at 89 1/3 right now. So deeper into the workload than he's ever been before at this level, but making adjustments as he's going and actually pitching his best baseball right now.
Zach Neto, as always, it seems, in a 1st inning, goes first pitch swinging. And it cuts through that high heater from Kyle Leahy. Neto, the former 13th overall pick out of Campbell. It's been a high-end shortstop for now these last 3 full seasons for the Angels.
Is that the Camels?
Yes.
Campbell Camels?
Cedric Mullins.
All right. All right. All right.
Kyle Leahy out of Colorado Mesa. Good D2 program. His 0-2 to Neto. No chase up the ladder. Yeah, you mentioned already a career high in innings pitched for Kyle Leahy. Had a great year, like you said, with 88 innings last year as a reliever. That is strike 3 called, and Zach Neto wants to challenge this.
Challenge the call strike.
Oh, I think Zach's going to be disappointed here. I think this is a really good backdoor sinker by Leahy.
Wow. And it is right on the edge from Kyle Leahy. You cannot throw that better.
No,
so
that was perfect.
A strikeout to start, and now here comes Mike Trout. 3-time MVP, is now a 12-time All-Star. It was so great to see him playing in an All-Star game again for the first time since 2019.
Well, look for the Cardinals and every other team that he faces to mostly try to pound the top of the strike zone with 4-seam fastballs. He is very passive on the first pitch, so he's able to steal strike right there with that slider. But that's the plan generally versus Trout. Try to fit that fastball up and in and get him to expand.
Doesn't chase there. It's been a big part of Mike Trout's season. He's got the lowest chase rate on the team, and he's really cut down on swing and miss from last year.
Yeah, he's always been very patient. He's a tough guy to throw strikes to because you know that there's such a big area that he does damage. So it kind of gets you into this aiming mode a little bit, and a lot of times that's where mistakes happen.
He did go around on appeal down the line at first.
I don't know. Let's see it.
I'm okay with that. You?
Yeah, I mean, it's about as close as it gets. I think that's a swing.
So 2-2 from Leahy, and Trout doesn't expand, and a full count. And Mike Trout was emotional when he found out that he was named to the All-Star game. And rightly so, with all that he's dealt with the last few years. Payoff pitch. Trout beats it into the ground at J.J. Weatherholt. Sure-handed at second. And 2 up, 2 down for Kyle Leahy.
That looked to me like Mike was looking off speed there. That fastball got in on him pretty good from Leahy. I think the expectation a lot of time for Mike when he's up there is that the pitchers aren't going to challenge him in a spot like that, 3-2. But credit to Leahy, came right at him and got the ground out.
It is a pretty diverse mix for Kyle Leahy. 2 outs, base is empty, and now he faces the first baseman, Nolan Shonowell. Another solid season with the bat for Shonowell, former 11th overall pick out of Florida Atlantic. Still waiting on that breakthrough in terms of power, exit velo, bat speed. This year he's dealt with a calf and an ankle issue as well. 1-1. Fouled away, 1-2 from Leahy. Kyle Leahy's first outing since the Friday before the All-Star break. It was shortened for him because of a lengthy rain delay. It was 3 innings of shutout ball. Ollie Marmol thought it was maybe the best Kyle Leahy has looked this year. Looks pretty crisp here out of the gates.
You know, he does, and the velocity's up almost 2.5 miles an hour to start this game. Everything's looking good. You can tell that he's benefited a little bit from the shorter workload in his last start.
Another pull side ground ball at Weatherholtz, and 1, 2, 3 for Kyle Leahy to answer Jose Soriano. ESPN Baseball is presented by Liberty Mutual. Bundle and save on your car and home insurance.
On ESPN and Disney Networks.
Top 2, no score in Anaheim, and some cheers for Jordan Walker, one of, if not the breakout star of the season to this point. The Home Run Derby champion, having a sensational season after, as you said, 2 really tough seasons for him to endure.
Yeah, you just got to give a lot of credit to Jordan Walker, the person, because I can tell you firsthand.
He ropes this one in the air to left, and it's over the head of Josh Lowe and off the wall. Jordan Walker with a headlong dive for a leadoff double here in the second.
And he just hits the ball so hard. I think he topspun this ball a little bit, but he still had enough on it to burn the left fielder for a leadoff double here. Yeah, a little hanging breaking ball in the middle from Soriano. Walker's done a much better job of punishing mistakes this year. I feel like his move is a lot more controlled, and then he just rotates and explodes that giant bat through the zone.
Top spun it at 113. You can see Josh Lowe did not get a good read on it off the bat.
Yeah, because the trajectory looked like it was going to be a fairly easy play, but when you hit it 113, it tends to end up in a little bit of a different location than you expect.
So leadoff double in front of Lars Nootbaar, 6th-year Cardinals vet. Good to see him healthy. Missed the first couple months of the season. Double heel surgery in the offseason. He's been solid since coming off the injured list. Walked 4 times yesterday.
Yeah, that's the carrying tool for Nootbaar. Has always controlled the strike zone extremely well. He also shows, you know, plus bat speed and power and those sort of things. It's just been a matter of putting it all together and staying consistent.
Backside base hit. Might have been a broken bat from Lars Nootbaar. Walker stops at third, and they're at the corners with back-to-back hits to begin the top of the second for St. Louis.
All right, Lars Nootbaar using the whole field right here. Gets a splitter or sinker. I think it's a splitter away from Soriano. Doesn't try to do too much. Stays on it. Shoots it the other way. Good piece of hitting right there in first and third for the Birds.
Cardinals trying to shake off what was a really disappointing game for them yesterday in Arizona. They lost 8, 7, and 10 innings. They led by 7, blew that big lead. Chance here to strike first with Mason Wynn, the Gold Glove winning shortstop.
Look for Soriano to go into damage control mode here. He'll definitely trade 2 outs on a double play ball for the run here.
I mean, you said some of the swing and miss stuff can be nasty for Jose Soriano. Rips a slider there at 90 miles an hour.
Yeah, in the early going of this season, that was the big difference. You know, he's always been a really good ground ball pitcher, a guy who can go deep into games with weak contact. But he added more whiff and more strikeout to his game early, particularly with the breaking ball, the slider, and the knuckle curve. So let's look for that tonight.
Yeah, he's been getting a ton of swing and miss this season. A lot of chase, maybe less so in both categories recently. 0-2. Wind doesn't expand on a sinker down.
Yeah, we talked about the chase rate a little bit with Kurt Suzuki before the game. You know, it's funny. Sometimes a pitcher comes out and he's so nasty and he comes out like such gangbusters that the league decides to be a little more patient. They know they can't really hit him, so you know, make him come to him, and we're seeing it right here on cue. 0-2 count. Mason Wynn's already worked it back to a neutral 2-2 count.
Yeah, it's been one of the issues for Jose Soriano recently. He does have 53 walks this season. Walker and Nootbaar at the corners for Mason Wynn. 2-2. Wynn strikes out on a filthy knuckle curve from Soriano for a big first out.
Well, there's an example of it right there, Mike. Nasty knuckle curve from the high release, 85 miles an hour, so above average amount of speed. Mason Wynn's got his left hip headed towards the third base dugout, and that pitch is headed towards the first base dugout.
That's the pitch that has gotten Jose Soriano the most strikeouts of any of his arsenal this year. And now Nathan Church, center fielder in the 7th spot for St. Louis. Church, the 26-year-old rookie, got an opportunity with that Lars Nootbaar injury to begin the season. Got off to a solid start, but really going through it right now. Riding an 0 for 30. He's 5 for 50 in the month of July so far. He stuck around when Lars Nootbaar came back. Nathan Church beat out effectively Victor Scott and is manning center for the Cardinals.
Yeah, just showing a little bit more with the bat than Victor Scott was. But let's look for him to put on his hard hat here and battle. 0-2. Runner in scoring position. Would love to give the Cardinals the lead here, but he's going to have to fight here.
0-2. Church pulls one into right field, a base hit, and he does just that to start the scoring, and the Cardinals strike first. A rocket RBI single for Nathan Church.
Man, you know this had to feel good for Nathan Church, going through an 0 for 30. That's not fun at all, but you break it up here. Not only do you get the hit, you get the RBI. And for Soriano, it's a splitter. He just doesn't get it quite low enough. He does induce the swing, but the ball remained in a hittable area. Nathan Church was able to drop barrel on ball.
So now Blaze Jordan. The third, and Denzer Guzman can only get one. Nootbaar scores from third on a ball right at Denzer Guzman, and it's 2-zip St. Louis.
Yeah, this was definitely a double play ball off the bat. Guzman didn't field it cleanly, but credit to Guzman that he was able to handle the no panic drill and fire it over there to get at least the 1 out. But the inning continues.
And it goes down to Jimmy Crooks. Boy, that's a guy in Guzman who is really slick defensively for the most part and has handled third base really well, and shows you why he's really a natural shortstop.
Yeah, you said it. Natural shortstop, still super young, playing a new position, but he has all the actions. The big league actions are there. And the future's bright for Denzer Guzman, especially with the motor he plays with. I know that wasn't his best moment right there. He would have loved to start the double play, but the presence of mind to stay calm, go ahead and barehand that ball and get an out, you know, that's going to minimize the mistake.
So 0-2 on Jimmy Crooks, rookie out of Oklahoma. And he chases 98 up the ladder, and that will do it in the top of the second. Cardinals get 2. Jordan Walker and Lars Nootbaar get it started. St. Louis off and running in Anaheim. Welcome back to ESPN Baseball, presented by Liberty Mutual Insurance. From Angels Stadium, we go to the bottom of the second with the Cardinals up 2-0 on the Angels. Kyle Leahy goes back to work against 4, 5, and 6, starting with the veteran Jorge Soler. Soler's numbers have dipped these last couple of seasons here with the Angels. Kurt Suzuki got asked yesterday about potentially moving Soler down in the order. Suzuki admitted he's thought about it, but said with a pro like Soler, you give him the opportunity to get himself out of it.
You know, it's really apparent talking to Kurt Suzuki in the meeting before the game just how much he's a player's manager. You know, he loves talking to these guys, figuring out where they're comfortable, and he really just wants to put them in the best position to succeed as possible.
16 years as a big league catcher. An all-star with the Twins in 2014, and Kurt Suzuki finished his career with the Angels here for a couple of seasons. His final year was in 22. Yeah, a lot of positivity in talking with him.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you know, when you're a catcher, you work with pitchers, you got to stay positive, you got to be a therapist in a lot of ways, and he's got a lot of experience doing that. I mean, I know from experience talking to Max Scherzer, he's one of Max's favorite catchers of all time when he had him with the Nats. So he's dealt with a lot.
Soler strikes out. We check in with Kevin Connors in the studio.
Mike, Yordan Alvarez now has 5 multi-home run games this season. Doug, numbers 32 and 33 tonight.
His career high is 37 home runs in 2022. So he's 4 away, and he's got 30 more games to do it with.
Mike, he leads the American League in all 3 Triple Crown categories.
Kevin dug in. That's something. Another sensational season for Yordan Alvarez.
I mean, you heard it. He leads the league in all 3 triple count categories. Sometimes it's not that complicated. He's just the best hitter in the American League right now.
And up to 33 home runs. Vaughn Grissom got jammed on a broken bat comebacker, and J.J. Weatherholt takes care of that. So 5 up, 5 down for Kyle Leahy. Meantime, in the National League, we update your wild card standings up to the moment. So the Cardinals, they start this series 4 games above 500. Such a feel-good surprise this season, but now you're at this point. You're 2 weeks from the trade deadline, 2 weeks exactly from today, and there's still so much in front of this group.
There is, and I think it's important for this group to just stick with the process. They've had a really nice season to date. They put themselves in position to do some pretty special things down the stretch. I don't think they're going to get a ton of help at the deadline. I think this is probably largely the group that they're going to go out and compete with. But you know, they're feeling confident. They know what they can do, and they're looking to really, you know, play a full 162 and see where they land.
2 outs, bases empty for Josh Lowe. On the ground again at J.J. Weatherholt. He's been busy so far. He's helped out Kyle Leahy with 4 of the 6 outs. That's a 10-pitch 1-2-3. Bottom of the second for Leahy. Part 2 of our Major League Baseball doubleheader tonight continues out in Southern California from Angel Stadium in Anaheim. We started in Philly, now we're out west. Our second half of the season picks up here on ESPN. 3rd inning on the way. Cardinals up 2-0 on Jose Soriano and the Angels. Second time through with J.J. Weatherholt, the National League Rookie of the Year favorite, leading off. Bounced out to second his first time. We're talking with Kurt Suzuki pregame, mentioned his positivity. He said one of the real bright spots has been every 5th day when Jose Soriano's on the mound for this team.
Yeah, no doubt. Between Soriano, Walbert, Urania, and Reed Detmers, they have 3 pitchers that have done some things this year. So yeah, it must be exciting to have Jose Soriano out there. He's definitely been trying to make the leap this year. If he can just get one more really good run of pitching, I think he's going to have his best season yet.
Again, he was downright ridiculous to start this season. It was 1 earned run in 37 2/3 through late April. I mean, it was a .24 ERA.
Yeah, and you watch him through that stretch. It was pretty simple. It was tons of easy ground balls and tons of chase. Pretty good combination.
Got tagged with a pitch clock violation, so now it's 3 balls and 2 strikes on Weatherholtz.
One thing I love about what the Cardinals have done this year is they just stuck J.J. Weatherholt in the leadoff spot and left him there. And you know what? He's been that guy all year as he draws the ball 4 here.
Takes inside, and the leadoff man's aboard. Well, let's welcome in our dear friend Mike Petriello. For Mike, more on Jose Soriano and his splitter this year.
Yeah, guys, obviously Soriano got off to the tremendous start, hasn't quite been the same lately. Just 4 strikeouts in his last 2 games. And Adam, I want to throw some splitter metrics at you and tell me what you see. Right, so the whiff rate on this was almost 50% in April. It's 11% in July. What I see, it's a tick slower, and he's throwing it about half a foot lower. The swing rate on this pitch dropped from 54% last month to just 26% this month. And obviously he's just not getting the same kind of swing in this when guys aren't going for it as much.
Yeah, that makes sense to me a little bit, Mike, because if he's saying that it's a little bit lower, then to me that means there's more non-competitive splits, easy takes out of the hand, not to mention the speed differential being a little bit different, having it be a little slower now. So guys are able to recognize it a little easier and lay off of it when it's in the dirt, in the unhittable area.
You see the breakdown on that splitter by month for Soriano. Snaps in a curveball to Ivan Herrera. Struck out his first time on a sinker.
And really, if you look at Soriano's split and you kind of take the labels away from it and you back up a little bit, it's sort of a splinker. It's sort of a super sinker. Yes, it is technically a split. He has a sinker as well, but being well over 90 miles an hour, right around 0 inches of induced vertical break, that's to me that's more of a sinker shape. So it's a little bit of an interesting mix for Soriano between the sinker and the splinker.
Well, he's 1-2 on Ivan Herrera. Break it down for us. You know pitching from all angles. You're so well versed in it. Splinker, it came into popularity probably mainstream with Paul Skeens.
Yeah, Paul Skeens, Yohan Duran. It's guys who have exceptional velocity and then they go to use the split grip. And instead of it being like 90 miles an hour with some tumble, it's mid-90s just with a little bit more sink. So it's a hybrid. But same story here as it was a little bit last inning. Another 2-strike count, a bunch of attempts to make the batter chase, and a bunch of attempts denied by Cardinals hitting.
Jose Soriano's 3-2. Herrera strikes out on a sword. O'Hoppe's throw is not in time to get J.J. Weatherholt, who swipes second. That was pretty filthy from Jose Soriano.
Yeah, I think Herrera got a little jumpy at this pitch here with Weatherholt on the move. I think possibly that distracted him a little bit because this ball was pretty far outside of the strike zone. I don't want to take away from the nastiness of the pitch, as you can see from that view. It did trend as a strike out of hand. But, man, if you're going to chase that far outside of the zone, you're doing something right on the mound.
So 1 away for Alec Burleson. Great numbers again this year for Burleson, coming off the Silver Slugger last year. Now the full-time first baseman this year with Wilson Contreras in Boston. Backside ground ball. Denzer Guzman is up with it, and the pick by Shadowell for out number 2.
Hosting friends for the next game? Just tell Siri, add hot dogs to my grocery list.
So Jose Soriano trying to keep the early deficit at 2, but he's got to deal with Jordan Walker, who mashed that top spin double at 113 miles an hour off his bat, his first time leading off the second.
Yeah, Walker got him on a hanging breaking ball the first time where he really dove out over the plate and stayed on it really well. I was just going to say, look for Soriano to maybe work him inside in the beginning of this at-bat. That was actually an accidental miss inside, but still, usually when you see a batter diving, you want to straighten him up a little bit.
Walker on the ground at short, and Zach Neto ends the inning. John Mozeliak will join us when we come back to Anaheim.
The itch and rash of
Bottom three in Anaheim, Cardinals and Angels. Mike Monaco, Adam Ottavino with you. And John Mozeliak, kind enough to stop by, the interim general manager for the Angels, longtime Cardinals executive. John, thank you for stopping by.
Yeah, nice to be here.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Yeah, good perch up here. And a little different for you, being on the other side of watching a Cardinals game, huh?
Yeah, it really is. Got to see a lot of friends, friendly faces today. It was nice catching up with a lot of guys. And, you know, even when I was out of baseball, I was still keeping one eye on the Cardinals. And, you know, it's nice to see the success they're having. But now my responsibility is to find a way to do it here.
Joe Adell leads off bottom of the third. Yeah, you got to catch up with a lot of folks today.
Yeah, exactly. It was, I think that everybody on that entire staff was somebody I was connected to. So, yeah, it was cool.
What have you learned here in 3.5 weeks so far? You get brought on as a consultant, interim general manager. What have you learned about the Angels organization and where you think it needs to go?
Well, I think a couple things. One is obviously we're not where we need to be. That's clearly obvious with our record. But there's also a lot of really good people here. And so I think the key for us is really identifying what people's roles are, where we can really leverage their strengths. And then, you know, obviously we're going to have to figure out how we want to go through this trading period. I think it's an opportunity for us. And then also I think then as we start to focus on 2027 and beyond, it's really about doing the things we did in St. Louis. And that's just, you know, scout well, develop well, and ultimately have a pipeline of talent that comes up and supports your major league team.
Well, John, you talk about that pipeline of talent that you need to develop. It's the lifeblood of every organization. And the timing of your hiring was interesting, you know, leading right up to the draft. How did you handle that situation, you know, as that being the first order of business?
Yeah, timing was awkward for sure. But, you know, I really just empowered the scouts and let Tim McIlvaine do his job. And, you know, my expectations were just to anchor to a process.
Joe Adell hammers this one to left. Newt Barr's back. It is gone. And the Angels are on the board.
You know, whenever I do TV, that never happens. That's pretty sweet.
Well, you brought him some luck here. The 14th of the season for Joe Adell. The Angels hadn't had a base runner to this point.
Yeah, Joe Adell got a hanging breaking ball right here from Leahy and did not miss it. Actually, kind of similar to Jordan Walker's double earlier in the game. Little breaking ball over the middle that you got to stay on, and shows off that prodigious power to left.
Well, you were saying about the draft that you empowered the folks around you and the folks who had been here.
Yeah, and ultimately I think we came out of it pretty well. You know, really pleased with the results, and you know, moving forward, we're just going to continue to create processes and have the discipline to stick with something. And you know, from that standpoint, I think that's pretty low-hanging fruit to make immediate improvements. Now, you know, long-term in terms of how we think about our development and what we're actually getting out of our players and trying to optimize their growth, that's really the next step for us.
How about as it relates to the trade deadline? You mentioned that as we sit here today, it's exactly 2 weeks from the trade deadline. Do you have a sense of exactly what you want to do in terms of strategy as it stands right now?
I think right now we first have to understand like what our models look like, because most importantly, I don't know these players inside and out like I would have if I'd been here. But as you think about it, we have unique players to trade, meaning controllable type players, and you don't really see a lot of those types of players get traded during a trade deadline. It's usually more of the rental player or more irrational type thinking in those types of deals. And so really just want to understand like what our ROI should be in these decisions. But you know, ultimately we know this is a period where we need to be transactional and try to find a way to improve.
Do you find that it helps during the trade deadline to be in one clear direction instead of kind of hugging that line where you're thinking about selling and buying? Are we going? Are we not buying? What message am I sending to my clubhouse, etc.?
Well, when you think about that, I think that's a very tricky path to walk. But when you are trying to improve for the future, I think that's ultimately like what we need to be doing. The question is, are we talking about like 3 years from now, or are we talking about some players that may have some impact for us in 2027 or 2028?
As you have gotten into this these last 3.5 weeks, how have you navigated that discussion, like future of the organization, trade deadline, with the folks you're working with ownership, with management around you?
Well, I think I was brought in for a reason, and the sense is to obviously create change and to change the path that this organization is currently on. And so Molly, who I work with, who's the president of this team, she and I talk all the time about, like, what can we do? Where are small gains that we can start making now? But understanding like this is going to be a long-term process.
Yeah. There she is up there, Molly Jolly. On the ground, little nubber at Mason Wynn with that cannon of an arm that he shows off to get Denzer Guzman, who had battled. So one away here in the bottom of the third. How about the search for a general manager? You've already talked about that you already start working on your list. You kind of got to get to it right away. Then after you get through the trade deadline, right, like then you can start to think about interviewing folks and kind of next steps in the process. Is that accurate on the timeline?
No, I think that's right. I will say it's an ambitious timeline of what we're trying to accomplish here, but as I look at like what we want to do, I mean, obviously I want to have Molly part of that conversation and ultimately, from a directional standpoint, what we're trying to do. But I mean, I have a short list of guys I think that would be good candidates for that. And so the moment we hit the go button, I think that's something that we can move pretty quickly on.
In terms of traits, like what traits would you like in whoever that person is, the people that you already have in mind?
Yeah, I think it comes down to really 3 simple characteristics. It's IQ, EQ, and are you current?
Yeah.
Do you know what's happening in the game today? And if so, I think that would be a great fit for us.
Logan O'Hoppe just popped out to first. Back to the top for Zach Neto. Have you thought about for you, like, and if you want to stick around any longer than the end of the calendar year?
I will say I'm having a lot of fun doing it. This is a really nice place to live.
That's what Adam was saying today.
Yeah, I was driving around today. I said, I can see the benefits here.
Yeah, exactly. It's not bad. And, I think like the strategy when we went into this was like really just trying to change the direction of the franchise, and in terms of what happens next. I mean, obviously that's Mr. Moreno and that's Molly and their decision making, but I will say in the short term it's been pretty fun.
0-2 to Zach Neto, and he lays off from Kyle Leahy.
How's the relationship been with Suzuki so far? I mean, we had a meeting with him. He's got relentless positivity. He's a player's guy. How have you meshed with him so far?
I think really well. I would like to spend more time with him and his staff. I just haven't really been able to do that, but I would say that I find him like just really easy to talk to. He's a really personal guy, as you pointed out. He's like the internal optimist. And you think back to like when he was a player, he had a lot of confidence as a player, and I think he's growing into that as a manager. So, I really like him, and I'm looking forward to getting to know him better.
Yeah, we certainly sense it too. The optimism, the positivity kind of oozes out of Kurt Suzuki.
I mean, look, we're not winning a lot of baseball games, so it's tough, and to try to keep that clubhouse intact that's art.
You're so right. It's much easier said than done when you get to this point of the season and your record is what it is, and you're trying to get the best out of these guys and have them improving every day.
Yeah, and what he and I talk about a lot is just those small things, little things, because we know there's 10 weeks left in this season, and we just don't want to waste those 10 weeks, because anything we can do to make small improvements that'll have a positive effect in 2027, we need to be doing.
Neto ropes one foul. Just saw Mike Trout on deck. What have your conversations been like with Mike Trout?
I would say brief. when I first came here, he was on the IL. We have connected. Obviously, a very impressive player, and he loves the game. So he actually is a fun guy to talk to about baseball.
Get a chance to see him here in the third as Zach Neto singles past short. And here does come Mike Trout for the second time tonight.
We've seen some really good at-bats from the Angels hitters this inning. They fouled off 8 two-strike pitches along the way and really made Leahy work. And a little 2-out base hit by Neto sets up another run-scoring opportunity here with Trout.
And Neto saw 8 pitches, and now Trout ran it full his first time before he bounced out to J.J. Weatherholt at second. Yeah, to your point on he's on the injured list. Good to see him healthy. He has been healthy for almost all this season except for the time missed with that hamstring problem, and then back in time for the All-Star game. That is wonderful to see for our sport and for him.
Yeah, and it was special how he got to share it with his boys, his family. And it really did mean a lot to him.
One ball, one strike on the 3-time MVP and the 12-time All-Star. There's 25 pitches the first 2 innings for Kyle Leahy. His 26th pitch of the third soars high, 2-1.
Yeah, it really couldn't have went easier for Leahy the first 2 innings. Strikeouts and a pair of groundouts in each. But this one, the Angels have really flipped the script, making him work very hard for everything.
Good hook, 2-2. Zach Neto at first after his 2-out single. Does the wardrobe get to stay the same? You kind of keep the red for both teams, I guess?
Yeah, I didn't have to go out and buy much. I don't know, California's a little more casual, I suppose, but yeah, I think I'll fit in.
Keep the shirt, right?
Yeah,
Looks
right?
the same.
Exactly.
2 balls and 2 strikes on Mike Trout. Leahy deals. Trout hammers one foul.
Did you do any consulting with Albert Pujols about the transition from St. Louis to Orange County?
It's funny, he reached out to me when this all happened, and he, wished me well, and it was nice to hear from him. Yeah, I mean, those couple days, it was just kind of a whirlwind, just everything that was happening. But in the end, it's still baseball, what you do each day, and you certainly know the routine. And my biggest problem out here is I wake up so early.
Yeah.
The time zone thing is like real.
We feel it traveling for sure. 30th pitch of this bottom of the third on the way from Kyle Leahy. It's a 3-2 to Trout, and he strikes out. The Angels get a run. John Mozeliak, we can't thank you enough for your time and your candor.
It was fun.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
John Mozeliak, interim GM here with the Angels after a great career in St. Louis, our guest.
This is the
That's why they have the lead right now.
Soriano had 52 pitches with 1 out here in the 4th. Now Mason Wynn struck out on a curveball his first time and takes that 4-seamer up at 96.
All right, so now that he's led the at-bat off with the 4-seamer, later in the at-bat, look at him to come around with the sinker.
So right there, he goes to it, 4-seam, try to get it up, and then pairs that with the sinker for Soriano.
Yeah, now if you're Neto and you see something hard coming at you, you don't know exactly which one of those it is.
In the air, right field, Joe Adell. 2 down. That's one of the big tweaks for Jose Soriano this year. That sinker usage down compared to last year, almost cut in half, and then he's nearly doubled 2.5 times as much with the 4-seam fastball.
Yeah, I mean, he's making an attempt to add more whiff to his game with his fastball. Sinker, for as good of a pitch as it is, it's not really a big swing and miss pitch. It's mainly a contact pitch or a called strike pitch. So by adding more 4-seam, the hope is that you can create a little more whiff. Hasn't really worked out yet. I mean, actually, a lot of his damage has been done against 4-seamers. But I like the idea, and if he learns to execute a little more consistently at the top of the zone, the whiff will follow.
Yeah, Mike Maddox has said this year, everybody knows Soriano's got a good sinker. This is roped into center field, base hit Nathan Church. So he busts out of an 0 for 30. Now he's looking for a hustle double, and he is in there at second.
All right, so 2 thoughts here. Number 1, Church can hit a splitter because that's the second one that he hit in this game really, really hard off Soriano. And number 2, great job going for 2 and running hard right out of the box. Look at the Superman dive, laying it all on the line to get in a scoring position with 2 outs here.
I mean, this is twice, you said it, going down beneath the zone against Soriano.
Yeah, and it's not weak contact either. It's right on the barrel. I mean, he's all the way through that pitch, and that's several inches below the strike zone. So really good swings there, and then, man, what a dive.
Well, let's see if he stayed on the bag. Zach Neto immediately motioned that he wanted to have another look at this, and it appears maybe right there the Church does come off the base.
Yeah, I think I saw a little bit of separation there. The left hand, yeah. I don't like this rule. I don't think this is the spirit of the rule, in my opinion. I think he beats the throw. He should be rewarded a double, but yeah, I mean, you pop off the bag and Neto holds the tag. Probably going to be out here.
Zach Neto just took a few steps toward his third base dugout, with Kurt Suzuki challenging this, trying to end the 4th.
Middle infielders are taught to maintain contact with their tag as long as possible throughout the slide, because you never know when a guy is going to pop off the bag by a little bit, and then you can go ahead and convert that out.
There's one more look at it. Are both arms off the base? Can you definitively say that a tag is applied when the left and right hands are off the base?
I think right there, but then in that shot you can't see the left hand, although I'm pretty confident it's off the bag. But now that it's dragging, these tend to stand after a while.
Flip side is maybe they just need all this extra time to just piece together different views and know, okay, left hand's off, right hand's off, and tag is applied.
Yeah, there they are. They're in the replay review room back in New York. A lot of cooks in the kitchen down there trying to get this one right.
Here we go.
After review, the runner had obtained second base. However, with his momentum, he came off the base. The call is overturned. The runner is out.
Well, whether you like it or not, we see so many of those with replay review, and they did just need the time to piece it all together, and Nathan Church out at second. So it ends up 3 up, 3 down, with Church making that out at second base.
Hey, Ollie, what do you think that Leahy learned last year in the bullpen and his time in the bullpen that's What do you think that Leahy learned last year in the bullpen and his time in the bullpen that's translated back to the rotation this year?
How to attack. When he was out of the work ethic to be a starter, so he's adapting to the workload, but he's done a really nice job.
Hey, Ollie, for a guy who's battling and kind of going. Yeah, it's got to feel good for Nathan Church, even though he does end up losing that challenge from the Angels at second. 2 hard hit balls to bust out of it. It would have been an 0 for 30.
Yeah, and I love the way he went for 2 on that last hit. I mean, obviously he gets thrown out there by popping off the bag, but he ran like a guy who hasn't been getting a bunch of hits. Like, this is my chance. These legs still work. Let's go.
The 3-2 is hooked into right field by Nolan Shotwell. Leadoff single to begin the bottom of the 4th. Check in with Kevin Connors in the studio. All right, Kevin, Doug, thank you guys very much. Good one going there on the north side. 2-1 the score here. Cardinals on top of the Angels, bottom of the 4th inning. Jorge Soler against Kyle Leahy. And Adam, it is a National League Central where everyone is playing well. You got 4 teams, Brewers, Cubs, Cardinals, Pirates, all at least 4 games over 500 at the start of play today. Yeah, it's been really incredible to watch all year. The Reds at one point were doing really well as well. So that division and the NL East, I think, probably have the most overall depth of any divisions that we've seen this year. Yeah, Michael McGreevy was saying at one point earlier this year, he said, go figure. Like, we're playing great. The Cardinals have this start to the season that they've loved, and yet everyone in the National League Central is playing well. But there's a good vibe around this Cardinals team. We talked about it, the youth, the energy, and they are right in the thick of things in the wild card picture. Yeah, I think coming in with the low expectations really sets your sights for a good season, because then when good things start to happen, that kind of snowballs in the positive direction rather than having the expectations and then maybe you don't get out the gate the way you want to and things start going the other way, which we see in so many other examples. But this Cardinal team is young. They're doing it together. They want to be the core of the next great Cardinal team, and they're off to a nice start this year. Yeah, Chaim Bloom's done a really nice job taking over the lead role with John Mozeliak moving on. 0-2 here on Vaughn Grissom. Grounded out to second his first time back in the 2nd inning. You know, one thing that's interesting about Chaim Bloom running this team is I think back to the 2021 Red Sox, the team I was on that Chaim Bloom also was in charge of. We were also ahead of schedule, being a good team and a team that wasn't expected to be great that year. We did go ahead and make the big moves. We got Kyle Schwarber at the deadline, a couple other moves. On the ground to third, Blaze Jordan up with it. J.J. Weatherholt's turn and a beautiful pick on the back end by Alec Burleson as they roll 2 behind Kyle Leahy. Very nicely done. Blaze Jordan starts it. J.J. Weatherholt turns it, and the Cardinals get off the field. In Anaheim, Kurt Suzuki is kind enough to join us now. Kurt, thanks for doing this. What have you seen from Jose Soriano so far tonight?
Yeah, he's been really aggressive in the zone. Obviously, sinkers working, fastball, curveball, splits. Splits been a little bit up, but you know, I think for the most part, he's doing a really good job.
Second time through for your offense, and especially from the bottom of the order the first time through. What'd you like about their at-bats against Kyle Leahy?
Yeah, I thought it was a lot better at-bats. I think it was a lot better pitch selection. You know, obviously Joe hit that homer on a breaking ball, but, you know, Neto hitting that 2-strike up the middle. So I think, you know, they're really seeing the ball better now the second time through, and try to keep it going.
Kurt, thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, thanks again to Kurt Suzuki for joining us. Cardinals got 2 in the second. Joe Adell had that home run in the third. Blaze Jordan grounds out at Zach Neto, and there's 1 away to start the 5th.
This is a big inning for Soriano, in my opinion. I think if he can throw up a 0 right here, get the boys back in the dugout, 2 runs through 5, I think they'll be in prime position to kind of regain that momentum.
Pitch count manageable, too. It's at 60 right now through 4 1/3 for Soriano.
Yeah, and the third time through the order is looming, but he took care of the 8 hole. If he takes care of the 9 hole, which it looks like he's going to do.
Jimmy Crooks testing that theory to the warning track at Mike Trout. Let's bring in Mike Petriello again. Mike, what do you got on Jose Soriano?
Yeah, the curveball, as you guys noted before, is his best pitch. It has the best whiff rate of any curveball in baseball, and a new thing that we can measure this year, going back for the last couple of years, is by how much distance does a pitch miss the bat, right? And anytime there's a list where Mason Miller's pitch misses the bat by the most of anything in baseball, you know it's pretty cool. Soriano's curveball is actually top 5 as well. It misses the bat by 9 inches, which is really, like, it's huge if you think about missing a bat by almost an entire foot. That's a top 5 pitch in baseball.
Yeah, I think we saw something like that on the Herrera strikeout back in the 3rd inning on the curveball.
Yeah, and I think the effect is that he throws so hard, so guys speed up a little bit to get ready for the fastball, and then the nature of the way he throws his knuckle curve, it looks like a fastball in the initial push out of the hand, so guys start swinging and they can't stop, and then that ball's sliding out of the zone, and that's where you create that huge miss.
Well, you were saying, if he could get through the 9 hole, he did against Crooks. Now 2-1 on J.J. Weatherholt and trying to get through this 5th.
Yeah, I mean, 3rd time through, obviously now they've had 2 looks at him, so it was imperative for him to get that 8 and 9 hole out, which he did, and now he flips the lineup over and there's nobody on.
3-1 on Weatherholt.
Like in this spot, you have nobody on. This affords you the opportunity to be aggressive and throw a challenge fastball in the zone right here and see what happens.
Wow, so he goes curveball 3-1, 2 outs, nobody on.
Well, certainly not old school pitching there, a little bit more new school going to the curveball, but I can speak from my own personal experience. Some guys just have better command of an off-speed pitch than a fastball, and that was a perfectly placed knuckle curve.
Weatherholt strikes out. There's the gas at 97 for Jose Soriano, who authors a 1-2-3, top of the 5th on 10 pitches. Baseball continues as the Cubs host the Tigers from Wrigley Field. 8 p.m. Eastern time right here on ESPN and on the ESPN app. It says right here on my card, John Shambi, Eduardo Perez, Buster Olney, and some guy named Adam Ottavino will be there.
I'll be there.
Making the rounds this week as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Cardinals up 2-1 on the Angels.
I mean, Orange County and Chicago could be a lot worse.
Yeah. Chicago in the summer, no less. Josh Lowe against Kyle Leahy. By the way, Tigers have played some good ball. Tarek Skubal was excellent over the weekend right here in Anaheim.
Yeah, I mean, the big question is, can they get back in it enough as the trade deadline approaches? Everybody's had their eyes on Skubal for a long time, but the way they've been playing, that might not even be a thing.
46-53 is the record for the Tigers. Of course, the White Sox, when you talk about the American League Central, they have been right up there with the Cardinals, one of the great stories of this season so far.
They really have. And if you're in the American League and you have anything close to resembling a decent record, you're in it.
Yeah.
So the Tigers are in it despite that record that we just showed. And they've played better baseball of late, and they have all their guys back. So if they can play an encouraging level of baseball this next 2 weeks, I think that's going to go a long way for them.
Cubs are trying to walk it off right now. They got second and third, one out against Kenley Jansen at Wrigley. Bottom 5 here at Angel Stadium. 2-2 from Leahy. And a chopper foul from Josh Lowe. Josh Lowe, the former Ray, got traded here in the offseason. Struggled to begin the year. He went through an 0 for 24 at one point. Got optioned in late May. And then recalled in late June. Traded in the offseason to fill the spot of Taylor Ward, who got dealt to Baltimore. On the inside edge, strike 3 called. Kyle Leahy paints, and there's one away to begin the bottom of the 5th. And now Joe Adell coming up, getting a second look at Kyle Leahy as we take you back to leading off the bottom of the 3rd.
Yeah, first he got a slider that kind of backed up on him in at 86, and then he got a curveball at the same speed, 86, but this one was center cut, and Joe Adell didn't miss it. And when he hits it, he hits it. Tons of power in this guy.
First home run in a 2-strike count this year for Joe Adell. Last year popped 37 home runs, drove in 98. He was the Angels team MVP. What do you see when you look at Joe Adell offensively?
I mean, obviously the prodigious power. This is the type of guy that you want to keep out of the air if you're facing him. There is a little bit of chase in his game. There's a swing and miss in his game. So the whole real key when you're facing a Joe Adell is just don't get into any patterns and don't make any mistakes in the middle. If you do that, you're going to be all right. But if you don't do that, he can certainly make you pay.
Angels can't burn an ABS challenge right there because remember, Zach Neto used one in the 1st inning. And now Joe Adell grounds out at Mason Wynn. So a couple quick outs to begin the bottom of the 5th for Leahy.
Yeah, Leahy's been impressive tonight. The kitchen sink approach that he has really allows him to have a chance, I feel like, as he comes through the 3rd time through the order. And you know, he's operating with a little bit of a better fastball tonight as well in terms of velocity, so he's utilized what he's got tonight to great effect.
Denzer Guzman bats. Leahy at 4 2/3, and the big story with Kyle Leahy all year has been getting deeper into games. His first year as a major league starting pitcher, and then the 3rd time through bugaboo that has proved problematic for him this season. It's a hard hit ground ball to the backhand of Blaze Jordan. Up with it, and 1, 2, 3 for Kyle Leahy. He is through 5. Cardinals up 1. Sixth inning on the way in Southern California. Cardinals 2, Angels 1. And what has been a good one so far. Jose Soriano against Kyle Leahy. With Adam Ottavino, Mike Monaco with you. Mike Petriello along as well. And our entire crew behind the scenes. Another big inning here for Jose Soriano. His 3rd time through the Cardinals order. And he's got 2, 3, and 4. And Ivan Herrera was thinking about a challenge there, but did not opt for it. I think it would have been ball 1 had he challenged. A big spot here for Soriano, who had that 1-2-3 5th inning.
Yeah, he's actually gotten himself into a little bit of a groove right here. First time through the order, 3 for 9 versus him. Second time, 1 for 8. And as he begins his 3rd time through, he started off with a strikeout. Make that 2 strikeouts.
Yeah, he gets Herrera to punch out, 1 away.
There are some people for whom good enough is never good enough. They ruffle feathers, push boundaries. They are high performers, and high performers choose Sage, high-performance finance software.
So Soriano has struck out Ivan Herrera 3 times, and now Alec Burleson. When you talk about Jose Soriano 3rd time through, his numbers really haven't changed all that much 3rd time through if you go by OPS. First time through, 601 OPS, 651 second time. Rises a little bit, but still only 690 his 3rd time through. He's done a good job of holding his stuff later into outings, a 3rd look through a lineup.
Yeah, he does a really nice job of maintaining his velocity throughout outings. I also feel like he's the type of pitcher that when he gets into the groove, when he gets into the flow, the execution rate really rises. You see the delivery he has, it's very slow and methodical with a big explosion on the end of it. And I feel like it's a dance step, it's a rhythm. And once he finds that step and he finds that cadence that he's looking for, that execution rate is really good.
Yeah, you were talking about that with Kurt Suzuki. He was saying too, like he kind of hides it a little bit with his motion and then that tempo in his delivery.
Yeah, if you watch him, he's very slow and smooth with a little bit of a hip roll at the beginning, and then the ball just shoots out of his hand.
This is skied to deep center field. Mike Trout is back at the wall to make the catch for out number 2.
Well, Burleson certainly gave this one a ride. Got a 3-1 pitch, got a challenge pitch coming from Soriano. Just hit it a bit too high, I think, but Trout catches it right up against the top of the wall.
106 off Alec Burleson's bat. And Mike Trout right at the railing, and you could see the exhale from Jose Soriano.
Do we have a launch angle on that one?
Efforting 37 degrees.
Yeah, just a bit too high, just a bit too high. Hit it really well, though.
It's a home run in 7 ballparks. So 2 outs, bases empty for Jordan Walker. 1 ball and 1 strike on the Cardinals cleanup man who doubled his first time and then grounded out to short at Zach Neto. Mike, what do you got on Jordan Walker this year in his breakout?
Yeah, I know everybody knows him from the Home Run Derby, obviously, but even before that, this was a breakout. He's the largest increase in OPS or weighted on base or any other offensive metric you like from last year to this year. And I was reading a lot after the Derby. People were like, oh, who is this guy? I don't know anything about him. Well, this is his 4th year in the major leagues. He's made a ton of changes. He used to have one of the most open stances in baseball. This year it's neutral. The attack angle is up. The ground ball rate is down. A lot of credit to him for going and working on everything over the offseason, both internally and externally with Cardinals coaches. He went to Dravline. He went to Cressy. He did all the things that you're supposed to do. And you can see this is the side view, and then also you've got the open. Like he used to be almost Rafael Devers open, and he's really toned that down. And I can tell you this, 2nd fastest bat speed in baseball, and that's what earned you all these extra chances.
He's been awesome this season, but he lines out on the screws. 103 off the bat, but right at Mike Trout. Loud contact, but 1-2-3 for the Cards. Welcome back to ESPN Baseball, presented by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Bottom 6 on the way from the Big A. Cardinals 2, Angels 1, still the score, and both starting pitchers really settled in these last few innings. 9-1-2 for the Angels, starting with Logan O'Hoppe. Popped out to first, his first time back in the 3rd. Kyle Leahy had an efficient 13-pitch, 1-2-3 bottom of the 5th, and that is a nasty sweeper.
Yeah, he's been filthy tonight, and it's also encouraging to see him bounce back with 2 very efficient innings after that 3rd inning where he threw 31 pitches. So he really took a deep breath, reset, and he got right back on the attack.
His 0-2. O'Hoppe tried to hold up and did not go around. 1-2. The pitcher and you had like the lawnmower ready to go.
Yeah, I was ready to punch him out from up here, but I don't have the optimal angle, I'll be honest.
1-2. Just off the edge, 2-2.
Oh, that was a great choice. He just missed. He had that strikeout all day long if he executes that pitch, but he just missed with the backdoor sinker there.
Why such a good choice to go to the sinker in that spot through the back door?
All right, so the previous pitch was a breaking ball running away from the batter that he didn't get him to swing at. Even though it was a trigger, he didn't get him to swing at it. So then he starts something further away, reinforcing the fact that you shouldn't swing, and then run it back to the plate.
Chopper left side, and Blaze Jordan cuts it off for the first out. Yeah, Kyle Leahy, you said he's really responded since the third.
Yeah, you know, coming off of the abbreviated start where he only pitched 3 innings in Atlanta, he's had better stuff tonight. The fastball's been up a tick. Everything's been sharp. Ollie Marmol talked in the pregame about his bulldog mentality and the way he likes to attack, what he learned out of the bullpen, bringing it into the rotation, and we've seen it tonight. Little extra giddy up on the fastball up and a ton of really good breaking balls down.
He's had 88 pitches, so it's probably not a long stay third time through, but in many ways, this is where the game begins in some sense for Kyle Leahy. Third time through this season, it's an 1185 OPS because you just saw the line. He's been really good through 5 1/3 to this point.
Yeah, and he's aware of that. So when you're in that spot as a pitcher, the mode that you're in is empty the tank. Everything I got right now, right at these guys. Don't leave anything back. Give them everything I got.
Ball and a strike on Zach Neto. The way Ollie Marmol put it to us pregame was not being too predictable in what he called hitter advantage counts. Like that's one of the big keys for Leahy third time through.
Yeah, and I think it's a smart move, and I think what he's talking about is mainly using off-speed pitches and hitter advantage counts. Leahy's gotten a ton of value out of his breaking balls this year, and you know that's the key. You know you can strike them, so even when you're 2-0, 2-1, go to them.
Gets in on the hands of Neto, who pops it up behind first, and Alec Burleson is there for out number 2. So the base is empty, and Mike Trout coming up. You talked earlier about the book on Mike Trout and how you attack him. And you saw him, what, I think 4 times in your major league career is what I got you down for?
Yeah, not that many. I mean, a few more times in spring training, but nevertheless, I've watched him hit forever. Everybody knows that the way you attack Mike Trout is that up and in fastball spot. But it's easier said than done. It's much easier said than done. You make any mistake over the middle and you're going to pay.
This one is off the knob. Let's go back to your last regular season plate appearance against Mike Trout. Got him looking.
Yeah, I mean, if he could have tapped the helmet there, he might have walked to first base. But it was better times for me at that point.
That's a good 21 season you had for the Red Sox. Fouled back, 0-2.
Ooh, we got a pitch to hit right there. Little sweeper in the middle. Came on under it. Now he's going to have to battle 0-2. And if you're Leahy, don't try to be too nasty here. Just execute. Location over filthiness right now.
So I'm going to the hip too, able to presumably call his own pitch there.
Yeah, I mean, you see more and more guys going to it now, especially late in their starts. They get in the flow state. They know what they're feeling in the moment. They want to go ahead and dictate.
2-2 on Trout.
All right, so he overthrew the last 2 pitches. One's a 4-seam up, one's a backdoor sinker attempt that he overcooked. See if he circles back to the breaking ball where he made the mistake before. I don't think that would be a wise choice. Let's see what he does.
Chopper at third, Blaze Jordan near the bag, and the inning is over. 1-2-3 again for Kyle Leahy. He has set down 8 in a row and is through 6. ESPN is the home of MLB.tv. Stream every out-of-market game live or on demand using the ESPN app. Blackout and other restrictions apply, and for more info, go to ESPN.com/MLB.tv. Good one going as we embark on the 7th in Anaheim. Lars Nootbaar leads it off against Jose Soriano. Nootbaar 1 for 2, a single and a ground down to short. Soriano just now over 80 pitches. He set down 11 of the last 12. (2-0) to Lars Nootbaar. There's a strike with the sinker at 95. Nootbaar rolls over this foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes. That's a splitter at 94 it registers.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. Like, When you're throwing mid-90s splitters, I mean, faster fastballs than my fastball, I don't know if it's an off-speed pitch. You know, it's something else. It's a hybrid.
2-2. Called strike 3 on the inside part of the plate. And Soriano fans Newt Barnes. Check in with Kevin. How about that high drama at Wrigley?
Man, he came back from 3-0, bases loaded there.
And the Discord for your podcast is popping off about the Kenley Jansen escape act.
Yeah, shout out to the grounds crew in the Discord, giving me all the updates.
And it feels like every game's so important. I mean, again, we're 2 weeks out from the trade deadline. It can determine the course of action for teams.
Yeah, and both of those teams right there. I mean, Detroit's trying to claw back in this thing, and the Cubs are trying to stay within shouting distance of the Brewers.
Wynn fouls that one off himself. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, this is what Soriano's sinker can do to you. Right on right, little ball running in on the hands. Nowhere to hit it but off your own body. So he had the pad there, so he'll be all right. But, I mean, that's nasty.
That's what Kurt Suzuki was telling this pregame. Like, some of the movement on Soriano fastballs is just vast. That thing can take off.
Yeah, he mentioned seeing guys swing at sinkers in the dirt, which reminded me of my old teammate Zach Britton. But, you know, if you can get a guy to swing at anything in the dirt, it's good, let alone a fastball.
Sinker down, like Matt Wieters would call that for Zach Britton, right?
Yeah, apparently. Sinker dirt. That was an actual call. It's hard to believe, but true.
2-2 to Mason Wynn. Popped up toward the second base bag. Vaughn Grissom retreats. 2 down. Both these starters have been really effective on rest coming out of the All-Star break. Their first start since the break, Leahy and Soriano.
Yeah, and I feel like rhythm is the key word tonight. Both guys got into a great rhythm. They were able to throw strikes, use all their pitches, develop that feel, find their tempo, and really carry their stuff all the way through the end of their outing. I'm assuming this is Soriano's last out to get, but he's looked phenomenal the last 3 innings.
Nathan Church does not see a splitter to start out. 2 hits on a couple splitters so far.
Yeah, I don't think he'll see another splitter. I mean, he hit 2 splitters hard, both below the zone. So if I'm Soriano, I'm thinking, you know what, let's go opposite. Let's go high fastball. Opposite end of the spectrum.
Sinker leaks outside to Church. Soriano nearing the end of the road here in the 7th. Backdoor breaking ball just missed.
I wonder if the humidity plays into his hand a little bit. Being Dominican, you know, growing up in the humidity. Out here in Orange County, not typically that level, but tonight it's a little sticky.
Church strikes this in the air to left center. And Josh Lowe's there, and the inning is over. Jose Soriano, excellent across 7 innings tonight at the Big A. Play Ball is baseball's global youth initiative to highlight the fun and accessible ways to play our great game. To learn more, including how to find a league near you, scan the QR code or go to playball.org and follow @playball on X, Facebook, and Instagram. The sensation sweeping the nation continues out here in Anaheim with the tarps off. Kyle Leahy retires the last 8 that he faced. He really settled in after that 3rd.
Yeah, he did. He was great tonight. Coming off of the abbreviated start, he had a little extra oomph, and then he really found that rhythm, carried it all the way through 6 innings.
Ryan Stanek comes on, and Nolan Shanoel is going to challenge this.
Oh, all right. First Angels challenge since Neto in the first.
And Shawnuel is
The
correct.
call is overturned. Los Angeles has 1 challenge remaining.
So you get aggressive. You use your 1 remaining challenge, bottom of the 7th there, with the Angels down a run. But Shawnuel, a guy who knows the strike zone, facing Stanek coming on.
Yeah, I mean, he was very confident on that challenge, so I think he was positive he had it right.
So 2-0 for Shawnuel. Singled his last time after he ran it full. And Shawnuel is going to challenge a second time.
This one will be interesting. I don't know. This one's close.
I think he's correct. I think it was up. It was. I mean, this is the book and has been on Nolan Shawnuel. He's a guy who doesn't swing and miss, knows the strike zone, very good bat to ball.
Yeah, he's got some nice eyeballs.
4-pitch walk with 2 ABS challenges. Let's check in with Kevin in the studio. All right, thanks very much. That's a Mariners team at 50-50, and it feels like trending up with all the talent that they got.
I mean, we've been waiting all year for the Mariners to take over that division. On paper, I think they have clearly the best roster in the American League West, but it just hasn't happened yet. Obviously, a big factor is Cal Raleigh, and then he gets going tonight with the Grand Slam, so maybe he can finish his season with a flurry.
Yeah, the National League playoff picture compared to the American League, very different. By the way, the Red Sox have won 14 games in a row.
Man, how about that? 14.
Had a dramatic win at Fenway tonight on a late Caleb Durbin home run. That is called a strike, and that is strike 3 called. Shane Livensparger had to ring him up at the last moment, and Jorge Soler down on strikes.
Yeah, a little slider right in the middle. Not really sure what Jorge was looking for there, but for Stanek, that's a big first out. If he can keep Shawnuel anchored there at first, he might be able to get a double play ball here out of Grissom.
Grissom pops up the first pitch he sees over toward first at Alec Burleson, and there's 2 away for Ryan Stanek. Nice job by Stanek, 10-year veteran, resetting here after that 4-pitch leadoff walk to enter this game.
Yeah, 9 first pitch swings this game from the Angels, pretty aggressive. I felt like in that spot, maybe you want to see a pitch. He's been falling behind some of these batters. You know, Shawnuel's not really a running threat over there, so they really needed to get themselves in a better count there.
Now Josh Lowe goes first pitch swinging on a splitter up, and it's 0-1. Josh Lowe a ground out to second, and a backwards K on a sinker against Leahy in the 5th. Just down from Stanek.
Cardinals just backed up Jordan Walker a little bit in right field. They're going to go into the no doubles here so that anything that's hitting the gap, they can get back into the infield before Shawnuel can come around to score.
Ryan Stanek has really gotten back on track after he had a shaky start to the season. Guy who's had success with the Rays and the Astros, most notably in his career.
Yeah, he's done well. His last 12 outings, it's no runs or 1 run each time. So staying away from the crooked number. And when you're pitching in a leverage role that are oftentimes 1 or 2 run leads, that's the name of the game, staying away from a crooked number.
Backside toward the gap and cut off by Lars Nootbaar to end the inning. So Ryan Stanek posts a 0 on in relief behind Kyle Leahy. And we go to the 8th in a 1-run game. The ultimate goal of an MLB fan, seeing it all. The MLB Journey to 30 sweepstakes presented by T-Mobile is the ultimate bucket list. Enter now for your chance to win trips to all 30 ballparks. MLB.com/journey to 30 sweeps. Jose Soriano was excellent.
Yeah, he really was. We talked about the rhythm he was able to get into. I mean, he was cooking. He was really cooking the last few innings. The Cardinals went 0 for a third time through the lineup against him. So he really had it all working tonight, and a little bit of a return to form for Mr. Soriano.
And now Sammy Natera comes on, 26-year-old rookie out of New Mexico State. Made his big league debut a month and a half ago.
Yeah, massive strikeout rate, 36%. So they're going to look to avoid that.
He's facing 8-9-1, starting with Blaze Jordan. All right, the RBI ground out back in the 2nd, and then grounded out to short in the 5th. Fouled away, 2-1.
Yeah, Natera features a pretty good fastball, 19.5 inches of induced vertical break. That's one of the highest in the league from the left side at about 95 miles an hour. So a lot of fastballs, but a lot of very good fastballs.
It's an Angels bullpen that at times this year has gone through it. They had tried some veterans like Jordan Romano and Drew Pomeranz. Eventually moved on from those two. And Natera pitching in a 1-run game. In the air center fields at Mike Trout. One away to start the 8th. Let's check in with Mike.
Yeah, Mike, you said the Angels bullpen has gone through it, and man, is that accurate. They have one of the 5 highest walk rates in baseball, and that's definitely not what you want. But I have another number here that's more related to this. They have the worst win probability added of any team in baseball's bullpen. And if you think about the way this team has been outscored this year, they've been outscored like a team that should be 12 games under 500. Well, they are 22 games under 500. And when your bullpen is failing in the most clutch moments, it's a really great way to lose maybe a few more games than the talent level would otherwise indicate.
Like, great stuff. Yeah, it's another way to look at it. Like, win probability added. What are you doing to aid or kind of hurt a team's chances late in games?
Yeah, and that's a stat as a reliever you really pay attention to, because you want to be impacting winning at the end of the day. ERA can be a little wonky for relief pitchers, but that stat shows your contribution to winning ball games.
Mike Maddox, the pitching coach, spent the last 3 years with the Rangers. Of course, Cardinals pitching coach. From 2018 to 22. That's fouled away by Jimmy Crooks. Still 0-2. By the way, this place is rocking these last couple innings thanks to the Tarps Off gang out in right field.
Yeah, and like there's a lot of them. Like, this is not a small group tonight. This is massive.
Maybe some of the Cardinals Tarps Off crew has made this trip out to Southern California.
So it's kind of funny because Ollie Marmol kind of started the Tarps Off in St. Louis, encouraging it, saying, come back, you know, we like this, we need more of this energy. And now it's being used against him here in Anaheim tonight.
Yeah, this has been a staple here in Anaheim as well this season. Swing and a miss. Crooks chases the slider down. A strikeout for Sammy Natera. The 2 gone in the top of the 8th inning. Hey, go all in on game nights with MLB Plus. You can stream MLB Network 24/7, select out-of-market games every week, live radio broadcast, game day 3D, big inning, minor league action. Visit MLB.com/MLB Plus to subscribe today. Back to the top, J.J. Weatherhold with a mighty cut on a 4-seamer to start from Natera.
So first time seeing Natera here, but he's got some real stuff. The fastball's for real, the breaking ball's for real. Definitely some swing and miss, and I don't think that it's an accident.
Natera had been rolling in AAA this year before the call-up. Guy who grew up right on the U.S.-Mexico border, went to high school in El Paso. Pitched for Team Mexico in the World Baseball Classic this year. Swing and a miss. That is filthy with the slider from Sammy Natera. Keeps the Angels within 1 in the late innings. He goes 1, 2, 3 with a couple Ks. We go to the bottom of the 8th next. ESPN Baseball is presented by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Knock savings out of the park with Liberty Mutual. Angel Stadium through the years since it opened in 1966. Beautiful vantage point to watch a game. Sadly, no foul ball bids up here in the broadcast booth. Yet, I should say.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's still a little time. I'll protect you, though.
Thank you. George Soriano takes over. Bottom of the 8th inning, follows Ryan Stanek, Dominican Republic native, cousin of Alfonso Soriano.
Oh, one of my favorites from my childhood.
7, 8, and 9 for George Soriano, starting with Joe Adell.
You're going to see a steady diet of changeups from George Soriano. It's his primary pitch. It's a really nasty pitch, has negative induced vertical break, which means a ton of drop.
A rope into left field, base hit, Joe Adell. Well, he got that changeup, served it into left. Tying run aboard for the Angels in the bottom of the 8th inning.
110 off the bat here from Joe Adell. There is that changeup, didn't get it low enough. Good job keeping his head down on the ball, and he's all over that. Joe Adell's hit 2 balls very loud tonight.
Yeah, pull side home run in the 3rd, and then that bullet to begin the 8th. And now strike 1 to start. Denzer Guzman, a guy you're really high on long term, I know.
Yeah, I mean, I was lucky enough to see him down in winter ball a couple years back playing for the Toros down there in Dominican. He just really looks the part, you know. A guy full of tools, a natural shortstop. Obviously had to move off of shortstop because of Neto, but some offensive upside, some defensive upside, and a guy who plays with a very, you know, mature sense of timing out there. Like, he's not rushed or sped up at all.
He stares at strike 3 called on the breaking ball. 1 away. Let's check in with Kevin in the studio. All right, guys, a big moment for Nolan Arenado, a guy you know well.
Yeah, I was just thinking about it. 2,000 hits. I feel like it was just yesterday that I saw him make his debut. I remember talking to him in spring training the year before he made his debut, and he was asking me what his chances were to make the team, and I told him 0. And he looked at me with a very disappointed look on his face, and I said, hey, man, I'm just telling you the truth. I'll tell you what nobody else will tell you, but you'll be up pretty soon because I think you might already be our best player, but they don't want to start that clock yet, buddy.
Yeah, they knew what was coming. Meantime, bottom of the 8th inning here. It was the leadoff single from Joe Adell. And then the strikeout from George Soriano, who's now going to face a pinch hitter. You saw Wade Meckler comes on to hit for the catcher Logan O'Hoppe in the 9th spot. There's that filthy changeup to start.
Yeah, Meckler comes in off the bench. Angels looking for a little bit of a spark. They have 0 hits with men on base tonight, so looking to change it up right here.
Meckler, a waiver claim back in January. He has swung it very well this season. An amazing story. This guy hadn't been in the big leagues since he debuted 3 years ago with the Giants. Grew up rooting for Mike Trout and the Angels. Homered off Jacob deGrom on the first pitch he saw with the Angels this year back in late May. 2-1 from George Soriano.
Not just a little Angels fan. This guy was a massive Angels fan growing up. I saw a picture of his bedroom recently, and it was like Angels sheets, Angels pillowcase, Angels posters. So what a thrill for him to play for his hometown team.
I went to high school here in Anaheim at Esperanza High. Pulls this on a rocket. Burleson caught it on a line. Could not double off. Joe Adell as Meckler hit that on the screws, but right at Burleson.
I don't know if I've ever seen a runner be safe on this type of play like Joe Adell just was. Usually a line drive to first is an easy catch it step on the base. To have the presence of mind to head back to the base here is a little uncanny.
And similarly, how often do you see a snow cone on something like that almost grazed the dirt?
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, like, didn't that look like that hit the dirt a little bit?
It was close.
Man.
Boy, that was right up Tim Kirkchin's alley. How often do you see that kind of in both ways? Now Zach Neto takes strike one. Let's have another look at it.
Ooh. I got that bouncing.
I think it did too.
Tell you the truth, though, if it bounces, it's an easier double play.
Yeah. It might very well turn into one.
Yeah, then it's the tag the base and get the runner in a rundown scenario there. So, in a weird way, it benefited the Angels.
One to Zach Neto. Hits it on the ground at third and foul. Just outside the bag at Jordan.
Man, it's so close over there always, but good call, good call.
Cardinals protecting a 2-1 lead in the bottom of the 8th inning. Neto singled in the third, a strikeout and a pop to first otherwise. 1-2. Neto in the air right field. Jordan Walker circles, inning over. George Soriano works around the leadoff single and protects the lead. 2-1 Cardinals to the 9th. SportsCenter is coming up next with Nicole Briscoe and Trevor Scales. The Red Sox win a 14th straight game. The Miz is back on the mound for the Brewers. Plus, my wish continues with Scotty Scheffler making one fan's dream come true. It's SportsCenter, and it is next after we're done here in Anaheim. To the 9th inning we go, and Jose Fermin, year 2 for him in the Angels bullpen, better numbers this year. He comes on to face 2, 3, and 4 for the Cardinals up a run, starting with Ivan Herrera.
Yeah, Jose Fermin, you're going to see a steady diet of sinkers and sliders. Mostly the slider, that's his best pitch.
Herrera 3 strikeouts, all swinging against the Angels starter, Jose Soriano. Herrera, National League All-Star this year. He replaced Shohei Ohtani. Good job to lay off, 2-1. Fermin's been pretty gnarly right on right this year. Up and in, 2-2.
Yeah, anytime you have your two primary pitches as sinker slider, you're probably going to do well against same-sided hitters. So him being right-handed, good luck to the right-handed batters.
His 2-2. Herrera strikes out again, and there's one away in the top of the 9th.
Tough day for Herrera, the golden sombrero. An all-star with the golden sombrero, not something you see often, but got to give credit to Fermin right here. Nasty slider, down and away, perfect location, gets the chase.
So one away, and it goes now to the 3 spot for Alec Burleson. 0 for 3, couple ground outs, and a fly out to center that he just missed.
Well, right on left is where Fermin becomes a little more vulnerable here. So if he falls behind Burleson, look for some damage.
Yeah, lefty's a 774 OPS, and Burleson in a plus count, 2-0.
Let's not forget, Burleson flew out to the very, very back of the warning track his last at bat.
By the way, when you get 2, 3, and 4, you know you're not going to get any pinch hitting from the Cardinals' Jose Fermin, so we don't get Jose Fermin against Jose Fermin.
I mean, we wanted it.
Yes. Swing and a miss, 2-2. Yeah, I've been kind of clamoring for it all week, I would say.
I mean, I'm sure it's happened with other names. You know, something a little more basic, maybe.
Yeah.
But
Will Smith against Will Smith.
Yeah, there you go. That's happened.
Full count on Burleson. We would do this. We would what we call like split screen it, but then we'd also put in the Spider-Man meme right beside it. Be like a quad box. Burleson strikes out, and the Angels, Jose Fermin with a couple Ks since coming on.
Man, both strikeouts on really good sliders. He's got a little bit of a high release. You see the downhill action on that breaking ball. You know, and you know, you put into the equation that it's 90 miles an hour. A lot of guys swinging right over the top of that.
So here's Jordan Walker. Cardinals up by 1. Bases empty, top 9. And then you pair it with a 98-mile-an-hour sinker. Walker doubled and scored, leading off the second. Grounded to short and then scalded a ball, but lined out to center as last time. That's called a strike. Walker's going to challenge. Looked like he had a good case. It looked out.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's amazing how well these hitters know the strike zone.
It really is.
I mean, it really is. It's incredible. I mean, that pitch, he knew right away that was off. It's only an inch off.
So the 1-1 definitively down. By the way, just kind of taking stock where we're at with the ABS challenges. Batters this year successful 48% of the time on their challenges. Catchers successful 59% of the time. 3-1.
Yeah, and I know 48% doesn't sound impressive, but you have to think a lot of those are also desperation challenges at the end of a game or something where, you know, you got to use them anywhere. You can't take them to the grave with you. So I think that number is a little artificially reduced.
5-pitch walk, and Jordan Walker gets aboard in front of Lars Nootbaar. Yeah, so here's what we got. It's 53% overall. You don't see many pitchers doing it, and that's why.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've said time and time again, it's tough as a pitcher. The catchers are making everything look so good back there. You have a little bit of an emotional investment in getting some called strikes, so you're liable to make a poor judgment call there.
You're snapping your head around like all of it.
Yeah, it's funny because I originally, when I saw the rule change, I said, you know, if I was pitching, I'd probably be challenging. I feel like I know the zone, but as I've watched it play out and watched other guys go through it, I think the catchers are just in a much better position to do the challenging.
Runner goes, the pitch called a strike, and the throw not in time to get Jordan Walker. So Jordan Walker moves into scoring position, and we get a challenge here. And it was a strike. So the Cardinals unsuccessful on that challenge, and they're down to 1 remaining.
Well, this is another part of Jordan Walker's game, the ability to take a base in a spot. You know, right here, getting the second base is valuable real estate, getting into that scoring position for Nootbaar. So Jordan Walker does it with the bat, with the power, but also with the legs.
14 bags for Jordan Walker.
I know, that's sneaky. When I saw that in the packet today, I said, oh, man. He's been really stealing some bags, and you know, not all the time. Like, it's not going to be an every time he's on base type of thing, but in this moment, it makes all the sense in the world getting into the scoring position.
1-1, and this is down and in. 2-1 on Lars Nootbaar.
Now, this is the situation as a pitcher being, you know, I was a guy like Fermin that was much better right on right. You have a righty on deck. You fell behind in the count here to Nootbaar. You cannot give in this situation.
2-2 on Nootbaar.
Or you could just throw another nasty slider. I bet he'll throw another one here because, You know, it's not broken. Keep doing it.
And you said it. It is low 90s with all that downward movement. 2-2.
Oh.
In the air, left field, struck well. Josh Lowe races back onto the track and runs it down. Inning over. And we go to the bottom of the 9th. Angels down a run. Cardinals turning to Riley O'Brien, and Mike Trout will lead it off when we come back to Anaheim. The Angels do not have a win this season when they trail through 8 innings. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning tonight in Anaheim. They're down a run against the Cardinals, and Mike Trout leads it off against the National League All-Star Riley O'Brien with an NL best 25 saves.
Yeah, we have All-Star versus All-Star here. This would be a really interesting matchup with the sinker against Trout.
Paired with that sweeper to start for strike 1 to Mike Trout. 2 ground outs and a strikeout back in the 3rd. High drama at the Big A. Another breaking ball from Riley O'Brien.
So he starts off this at bat, sweeper. It's been a really good pitch for him. Batters are hitting .031 against that this season. Obviously, he's known for his sinker as well. I think the play here is to continue with the sweeper, see if you can get him to fish off the plate away, and if not, then that sets up the backdoor sinker.
0-2. Tried to go backdoor right away.
Yeah, tried to go right through it, right to it right there. And this was a pretty good attempt. Almost got him. But Mike Trout's eye is very keen.
Riley O'Brien's 1-2. And then Trout doesn't chase. So the inverse of what you said. Now, what do you go to where Trout's eyes?
Well, I mean, I still think the backdoor sinker is the play. You just got to execute it and don't miss over the middle.
Against the Angels legend, 2-2. On the edge, strike 3 called, and there's 1 away.
Yeah, there it is. It's just so hard to pull. It's just so hard to pull the trigger on this pitch. It looks so far away from you, out of the hand. You just saw a breaking ball running away from you. It's a magic pitch. All right, so here's the sequence. 2 sweepers to get him to 0-2. Tries for the backdoor sinker there, just misses. Goes back to the sweeper away. And then returns to the sinker backdoor for the freeze.
Tries to go front door to start, Nolan Shotwell. And we get a challenge from Jimmy Crooks. I think it was in. And it was, so the Cardinals unsuccessful.
The call is confirmed. St. Louis has no challenges remaining.
Shanuel's been really good with his challenges tonight.
Yeah, he had 2 successful ones to walk in the 7th. Takes a strike here. He also singled pull side in the 4th. The lowest swing and miss rate on this Angels team. Excellent bat to ball. The 1-1. Sweeper down, 2-1 from O'Brien. Riley O'Brien last year had the breakout season as a 30-year-old rookie. Was off to an outstanding start this year. Then came back to earth somewhat. He's been really good the last month or so again. Shotwell on the ground. That's a base hit into right center field. Shotwell a big turn. And the tying run is aboard for the Angels in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Nolan Shanuel, the best contact hitter on the Angels, gets on top of this sinker and bangs it through the middle and gets the rally started here for the Angels. This is one of the things that you live and die with as a ground ball pitcher in the 9th inning. You know you're going to give up some hits, but you also know that you're always 1 pitch away from a double play. And something else I want to point out on that play right there, Jordan Walker did a great job getting to that ball. Shanuel had his eyes on maybe getting a second, getting in a scoring position, but Walker did a great job getting that ball back into the infield.
Oswald Peraza comes on to run for Shotwell. Yeah, you mentioned the defensive improvement from Walker. Kept Shotwell to first. Now Jorge Soler. Ball 1 outside to start from Riley O'Brien.
Important to note that Riley O'Brien is excellent at holding runners. He's allowed 0 stolen bases on the season at second base.
Sweeper just missed, and it's 2-0.
Jorge Soler has one pitch on his mind. I'm not sure what it is, but he's got one pitch on his mind looking to do damage and end this game.
He's 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts today, plus a line out to left. 2-0. Soler swinging on a fastball away, and it's 2-1.
Yeah, so it was sinker. He was looking for something to start away from him and run back to the middle. This one didn't quite come back over the heart of the plate. Stayed on the edge. He was a little late, and now we're at 2-1.
Soler fouls it off himself, and it's 2-2.
I think he's got him set up for a breaking ball here. Just got him to fire at 2 straight sinkers. He's been a little off timing with those. I expect him to continue to hunt sinkers, so I think he's got him set up for a really well-located breaking ball down and away.
Riley O'Brien deals. Tried it, and it's full as it backed up on O'Brien.
Now the question becomes, do they start the runner? 3-2, 1 out. Do you trust Soler to put the ball in play? Do you try to make something happen here?
Vaughn Grissom on deck. 1 out, 1 on, bottom of the 9th. Peraza doesn't run, and this backs up and hits Soler. Tying run into scoring position. Winning run aboard for the Angels.
Yeah, it looked like he tried to guide this breaking ball in a little bit. Came out of his hand a hair early, ends up clipping Jorge in the leg here. But yeah, Riley O'Brien took his big shot on the 2-2 on that breaking ball down. Threw that one with a lot of conviction. Soler did a good job laying off, and I thought on that one, he came off the sweeper just a little bit with his intent, trying to flip it into the strike zone, and ended up hitting him.
Jose Siri comes on to run for Jorge Soler. It's the first Angels plate appearance tonight with a runner in scoring position. Peraza at second, Siri at first, and ball 1 to Vaughn Grissom. Boy, angsty moments for the Cardinals on the heels of yesterday, where they blew a 7-run lead and lost the finale in Arizona. And with every game so crucial in the National League playoff picture. Grissom, right field. Walker's back at the wall, and that is off the wall. Peraza to third, on his way to the plate. Siri to third, and this game is tied.
Well, I'm wondering if this ball's actually a home run or not. It's pretty close, but unbelievable swing by Vaughn Grissom. Staying on an outside pitch and driving it the other way. Man, great swing by Grissom here. Good effort by Walker, but just out of the reach.
Kurt Suzuki thinking the same as you. Let's see in relation to the yellow line.
I think we're going to have to get another look. Nope.
Wow.
Tell you what, though, also pretty impressive again by Jordan Walker to bust it after that ball, after it bounced off the wall, and get it back in the infield. Pinch runner Jose Siri does not come around to score the winning run from first base there, which honestly, with that type of ricochet, would have been expected. So yeah. I want to give Jordan Walker a lot of credit for his hustle there.
The ruling on the field is that the ball did not leave the playing field. We are checking for a potential home run. This will be a crew chief review.
It looked like immediately the first base umpire, Mark Ripperger, saw it and saw it well. He definitely signaled that it was not a home run by Vaughn Grissom. We just got a good look at it. Here it is again. I mean, it's close, but it is definitively not a home run for Vaughn Grissom.
Yeah, I think I got fooled a little bit by Walker's jump. He was a little further away from the wall than I realized. All right, check the runners out right here. Siri goes all the way back to tag from first, which ultimately costs him scoring the winning run here. But I think what he thought was this ball's either gone or caught, and if it's caught, I want to get to second base. So I don't actually fault him for the base running, but obviously in hindsight, he would have preferred to be halfway there, and then he probably scores the winning run.
So now it's second and third. Grissom at second, Siri at third. The Cardinals bring the infield in, and the Cardinals will intentionally walk Josh Lowe. That'll load up the bases with 1 out still here in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Oh man, this is such an interesting situation. You got a ground ball pitcher on the mound. A lot of choices for Ali Marmol right now in the Cardinals. Do you want to even maybe go 5-man infield? Or do you want to play for the double play up the middle? Do you want to bring everybody in and play the ball to home? So a lot of positioning decisions to be made here on the defensive side for the Cardinals. And then also for O'Brien, how do you want to attack Adell? Do you go right at him? Do you try to pick at the corners here? This is a tenuous situation for the Birds.
So Joe Adell, who's been on it. I mean, you said it. He has squared up 2 balls tonight. He had the pull side home run back in the third leading off when the Angels had nothing going the first 2 innings of the game against the Cardinals starting pitcher, Kyle Leahy, until this.
Yeah, and Joe Adell showing a little bit of what he can do. Hasn't been as effective this season as last, but the talent's still in there. And when he stays head down on the ball, he's a dangerous man.
Loaded up, bottom of the 9th. First pitch. Outside ball 1.
All right, so they set up middle in there. I know he pulled it away, but that tells me that they're not looking for a strikeout right here. They're looking to jam him and get something on the ground and, you know, let the defensive work.
1-0. That's a strike, bottom of the zone, and Adell will challenge.
Strike. Then he comes back with the breaking ball there. This was a very good pitch. After that sinker, he didn't want to double up.
Ooh.
Great challenge by Joe Adell.
So that flips it from 1-1 to 2-0 for Riley O'Brien. O'Brien deals. That's up high, ball 3, and nowhere to put Joe Adell.
Man, this is such a tough spot when you're on the mound because you assume the batter's not swinging, and that makes it that much harder to throw a strike.
3-0. It hits Adell, and the Angels walk it off in the bottom of the 9th. Wow.
Oh man, talk about disappointment for the Cardinals and elation for the Angels, all wrapped up in one here. Cardinals with back-to-back devastating losses, but hey, credit the Angels, really good rally. I really want to credit Nolan Shanuel with the challenging, got himself in some better counts, ended up getting on base and starting the rally. Whole bunch of good at-bats contributed to this. The double by Grissom, just a tremendous 9th inning attack by the Angels offense. Man, and there you see it there, the sinker just flying out of the hand of Riley O'Brien. Didn't get himself into a good count there and ultimately paid the price.
Dejection for Riley O'Brien. Yesterday, the Cardinals collapsed. Today, the Angels storm back and they get their first win when they trailed after 8 innings this year. And the Cardinals get walked off 2 games in a row on this road trip. What a win for the Angels. 3-2 the final. The Angels come from behind in the bottom of the 9th inning improbably and take the opener against St. Louis. Sports Center's coming up with Nicole Briscoe and Trevor Scales. For Adam Ottavino and our entire excellent crew behind the scenes, Mike Monaco, thanks for joining us. Time for Sports Center.